Okay, I'd like to discuss doing maintenance on 10 centimeter handles. And this is an older 10 centimeter sweep, and it's gotten very loose with wear over time. So this is something you want to periodically look at, and it's very important to have good maintenance on your oars for a lot of reasons. When a handle gets loose like this, it creates a lot of friction inside the shaft and causes more wear, and then it can lead to the parts breaking. So what you want to do is you want to take the handle out, and that's done by loosening up the two screws on the top of the handle. You have to loosen them up. Then you want to actually make sure they drop down, because that's the way the handle is designed. You can pull the handle out, and as you notice, this is one that was well used and it's very dirty. The wear plates, the wedges are sort of stuck on there, and you want to remove the wedges, but take note of where they were, how far they were on, so you can put them back into the shaft and have the same length that you had when you started. So what I'll do is I usually count how many notches down. There's 10 holes in the wedge, and then there's a locator pin for the wedge, and this handle was at the second hole up. So I'll remember that exactly where they were. They were on the second hole up on both sides. Then you can take the wedge off from both sides, and a lot of times I'll use rubbing alcohol or acetone. I've got acetone here to use to clean the handle up, and over time the handles will get very dirty and grimy from the different waters that they're rode in, and they pick up a lot of dirt. Once you get the handle clean, then you can either replace the wedges or clean the wedges. And I like to clean the wedges if they're still in pretty good shape. I'll clean the dirt off from them. Then we're going to re-shim the wedges so they have a tighter fit going into the handle. Clean the wedge on both sides, because we're going to need to put some more sticker shims on the inside of each wedge to help make the handle tighter. The sticker shims go on the inside of each wedge, up near where the handle is. There's a rim on the outside of each wedge, and on the inside of that, those two locations on either side, is where you put the shims. And as we took that handle out, we were on the second one in. Everything's clean. Took the handle out, and if you slide it in, you realize how loose it is. That's a handle that's way too loose. So you want to take it out, apply a couple of these sticker shims to the inside of the wedges. We do that with Loctite. I've got some wedges here that we send out. They're little plastic wedges. I've got some Loctite or super glue, and I'll put a little dab of super glue right on the wedge. I'll do it on both sides of this one, because I know, judging by how loose that handle is, I can put at least 2 on. If you're not sure how tight it's going to be, you can start with doing one sticker on each side, or 1 sticker period. And if it still seems loose, then you can put another sticker on. Now I'm holding the sticker shims on with my thumbs. I hold them on for about 10 seconds or 15 seconds to make sure that super glue is set, and then the sticker shim's not going to pull off from the wedge. Once I do this, then I'll go ahead and refit the handle into the shaft. Okay, they're stuck on there now. So I'll put the wedge back on to the same spot it was, second hole up on either side. And I'll fit the handle back into the shaft. It fits in. That's a little bit tighter. That's actually almost as tight as you need to have it. I think that's good. You don't want them too tight, so you don't want to have to be pounding the handle in. You want to have them tight enough so they fit without the handle rocking once it's fit into the shaft. So once that happens, then you tighten up tighten up the 2 screws, and you'll be ready to go. If you have an issue with your screws where the screws are stripped, sometimes they get corroded and they don't work well. In that case, you pull the handle out, and you can actually take the screws out, and sometimes the screws are so corroded that they won't come out at all. These ones are coming out. But if that happens, you actually have to sometimes destroy the part of the hardware to get the screws out. As long as you don't damage the shaft, you can get new parts from us. You can get new screws and new screw plate. This little piece here that kind of looks like frog eyes is called a screw plate. You take the screws out of it, and like I said, sometimes you have to literally destroy it. You can use a vice grip tool or pliers and a hacksaw, and you can break this. This screw plate is just a little piece of plastic. You can squeeze it without squeezing onto the shaft, squeeze it and break it free from the screws, and then use a hacksaw to cut the screws out. Then the parts will actually fall inside. The screw will fall inside with the nut plate. This is a nut plate that's on the inside of the shaft, and you can tip it out. You want to make sure you tip out anything that's in there, and you can get the new parts from us. The screw plate for the sweep it has a little like zipper molded into it, and it matches the zipper on the handle, so it fits right in and locks into place. Our skull nut plate has a straight groove in the handle, and so the molded piece on the skull plate for that, the nut plate for that, is actually a straight groove, so that fits into the skull as well. The screw plate is also marked for sweep and skull. The skull has an X in the center of this little round circle. And you want to make sure you know the difference, because the skull has a little bit different contour of the plastic part, so it fits better on the shaft. The sweep has a little less contour, and so that matches the sweep shaft. So what you do to replace this hardware is you can actually use a paint stick, paint stirring stick, or the blade of a chisel or a screwdriver, or even a piece of wood. What I've done is I've got a couple of screws that I spaced the same as the inserts of the nut plate, and I take the nut plate and I put it right on top, and it'll hold it right in place where you're installing the new hardware. You feed the nut plate in so you can look and see where the threads are. Right now I've located where the threads are, lined up with the screws. I'll get a new screw and a new nut plate ready, and I'll start that screw in one of the holes first so it lines up with the thread. You screw it in just a few turns, then you get the second screw while it's still lined up, and you can get that one started. This makes it's a little bit difficult operation, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to do. The hardware's been installed back in the handle as it's supposed to be. Now you can put the handle back in. We've got new screws and new hardware. You fit it back in, nice tight fit, and then you tighten up the screws. You tighten the 2 set screws up, and your oar will be back as good as it was when you started. It's a really good idea to do periodic maintenance on these 10 centimeter handles, because again, they do get very dirty, and over time the handles can get loose and they need to be refit. This one is fit nice now. There's no movement there, and it's going to feel a lot better when you're rowing with it. And now you're all set to go.